Let me give you a history lessons as an old man to all you youngsters out there. In the beginning, the video gaming press was actually about video games. And you would pick up one of these publications, and it was in paper format, and your heart was beating as you're reading everything about video games, because every single page had nothing but video games. And they also had really great reviews at the time, and the reviews had to meet certain standards. They would talk about the graphics, they would talk about the gameplay. In fact, very rarely did they even touch about the story. Like, most of the focus was, okay, we played this game, this is how many bugs we found, the AI was such and such. Compared to other games, the graphics were... So, like, they had a couple of objective standards that they tried to meet in a review. And a customer would use that knowledge in order to know whether or not they should buy a game. And over time, video gaming companies are the ones that actually started reaching out to the press. And they are the ones that polluted this environment. It was the major corporations which started giving perks to journalists for good reviews. And it wasn't necessarily financial. I've not heard of journalists actually being bribed with having money handed to them. But there are cases where journalists were flown all the way from US, from California, into France, where they were being wined and dined at the company, so they have the opportunity to try out the new game. So it's heavily implied that when you're going to do something like this, the journalist is going to give a good review if they want to be invited and flown over next year when there's another game coming up. But more common than not, and this is a controversy that even YouTubers talked about it when they were offered this thing, you would have early access to certain games. The Shadow of Mordor was a really great example of this controversy, when you had several YouTubers being offered the chance to play the game before anyone else, but there was an entire contract that they had to agree with. So they had to give a good grade to the game, they had to talk about certain issues of the game, they weren't allowed to talk about the bugs, they weren't allowed to talk about negative stuff. And that is kind of the beginning of how the gaming press became the PR arm of the corporations. It's very difficult to tell where the marketing team ends and when the press begins. They're almost indistinguishable. And this is the same for video games, it's the same for TV shows, it's the same for movies. It's not just the favors and the perks, but I also think it might be ideological. Like, as long as a company promotes a certain ideology, the journalist of the same ideology feels the need to hype up that company. And they do the opposite if the company doesn't align on the ideological grounds. But it is painfully obvious that they're doing this at the detriment of the consumer. I remember when Mass Effect came out and the ending was just like having 3 different colors. The journalist was shaming the customer for being entitled. Yes, like, how dare you demand a good product? What, just because you pay a corporation, does that mean you're entitled to a good product? What nonsense is this? And you get to see this very bizarre thing where, again, it's almost like the press is hired, is on the company payroll. And the sad thing is, like, most of the time they do it for free. And you get to see how is the press that are shaming customers for being misogynistic or racist or whatnot for not buying a product. Like, it literally is a shaming marketing tactic. It's like, go see this movie or you're a racist. Hey, you want to stick it to the racists? Go see that movie. Pay your own money, your hard-earned money. Pay it just to spite the racists. And if you don't go, you're one of them. The way these journalists are carrying water for big corporations is absolutely disgusting. It is absolutely vile. To the point where I know people who don't differentiate between this. It's like, hey, so Disney thinks I'm a sexist if I don't see the new Star Wars? It's like, no, that's what the press thinks. It's like, what's the difference? Well, it's different entities. One is the company, the other is the enthusiastic press. Oh, I see. Yeah, I understand you're making that mistake. So that's pretty much how it is. But we're reaching a new level. Like, we're reaching a new low. Like something that I never thought would be humanly possible, where we get a new genre of articles and I have no idea how they're called, but it's an article where they're actually saying that a specific product isn't meant to be good. Like, Netflix Cowboy Bebop isn't supposed to be good. Wheel of Time is not doing the exact numbers that we're expecting, but that is the idea. What the fuck am I looking at? I mean, honestly, it is so difficult to articulate what I am seeing here. Like, they're giving up. So the shaming marketing isn't going on, right? Like, that doesn't work. Like, shaming people to buy a product doesn't seem to be very effective. So now they're trying something that I would say it's even bizarre. It's like, okay, well, this product that we hyped up and we gave good reviews in the past, well, you know what? It's not pulling the numbers, but that's a good thing. It's like, what type of journalism is this? And again, like, this is just 2 articles, but like, there's so many that are recently popping up about shows that are being canceled after 1 season. What are you doing? What is this? Who hurt you? I love it. Who hurt you? Yes. Here's some financial advice for you. You know how Tim Pool, Mini Beanie goes like, oh, I'm not a financial expert. I'm giving you the advice. Listen. If you're in the industry of making buckets, raise the price. Because all these journalists are going to start buying more buckets now. Because they want to carry more water per trip. It's not enough. They're not carrying enough water. They're going to carry more. At this point, they might actually build a pipe. I don't get it. Why not just say it's bad, it's shit, and move on? Or not just not write an article? Like, why are you doing this? No, it's not good, but like, if it's not good, what do you mean that's the point? Like, why would you... You do realize that this is a business, right? Like, you do realize that when something gets canceled, people lose their jobs? People get fired? Lives are ruined? Why? Like, wouldn't it be sadistic to actually try to start a project and you're hiring new actors who are hoping that this might be their way into the industry, only to have their dreams completely ruined? I mean, I'm looking at Cowboy Bebop, and the actress who plays Edward, to me, seems like a very talented lady. I mean, it does seem like she put her soul into it. She wanted to have a career. But unfortunately, the script was so bad that it's not her fault that now she's going to have a big stain on her career for starting into the Cowboy Bebop. Same with Home Sweet Home Alone. The kid there does seem like a talented young man. But again, like, if the script doesn't help you, what can you do? So you're ruining lives. This is sadism, what you're doing. If you think it's okay to just, like, get on top of an IP just to ruin it, like, knowing that what you're doing isn't going to sell, but you're doing it anyway. And this is only because a couple of people, they get to fail upwards. So you have, like, a couple of activists at the top, and they get on an IP, they ruin it, and then they get promoted in charge of another IP, and they ruin that as well, and so on and so forth. But it's the people from the middle below, like all the supporting cast and the people behind the scenes and all of those that are suffering every time this happens. But, you know, I guess we're at this level now. I'm still curious, like, what is this genre of news article called? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you guys there.